I'm really excited to have this opportunity to come here and speak to you about Pawprint. This is an absolute passion of a business. It's great to have some new friends coming as well. I thought I'd kick off by telling you a little bit of my story, how I got to build this business, and then get into the detail of where we are with Pawprint and how we're hoping to make it a real phenomenon. All about, as I say here, engaging people. Before I get into the meat and veg of things, I want to just introduce you to our non-judgmental polar bear. This is Bjorn, the bear, who is everybody's eco-companion. He's on hand to help you understand what you can do, to celebrate what you can do about the climate crisis, not criticize you for what you can't do. So a little bit of background about me. So at the age of 19, I fell out with my best friend about how we were going to change the world. He believed in revolution, and I thought you could do it through business. So I am still trying to win that bet. I went on to run a business called Lingo24, a tech-enabled translation business, which was quite successful, expanded around the world, clients like Patagonia, Eventbrite, and eBay. But through that journey, always felt an emptiness, that I could try and retrofit some sort of sense of purpose to it, connecting people, democratizing information. But would it really be enough to write on the old gravestone or to tell my grandchildren that I built a translation business that was 5% better than the next person's? I then went and moved into a non-exec role in that business. And around that time, my dad had his climate crisis. And he joined Extinction Rebellion, and he blocked one of the roads in my hometown of Edinburgh by gluing himself to another man. And was arrested and taken away by the police. A huge surge of pride for me in what my dad did there, lying down for what he believed in. I guess he was sitting me down at that time to say, don't worry so much about Brexit, which is a problem and a catastrophe. Focus on the world's biggest problem. And that's where we get to Pawprint, which is about putting individuals at the forefront, helping individuals to understand what they can do about this climate agenda at home, at work, and beyond, with a real emphasis on work as well. So our vision is to be part of a group of people who empower 1 billion people, the people who have real economic might to fight climate change. It's a big dream. It's one we've got many friendly companions working together on. That's what we want to be part of. And our chosen way to achieve that is to build the world's most impactful platform to engage employees in climate action. We've chosen employees as a very good way of meeting the needs of companies who need to persuade their younger employees that they are genuine about working on climate action, but also helping those employees to take genuine, credible action in the workplace and accelerate their companies' transitions to net zero. So we view ourselves as being in the market for employee engagement, which is worth $74 billion worldwide. It's absolutely huge. And there'll be some names here I'm sure you'll have heard of, which have achieved scale doing something similar, albeit in a different area. The one I'd like to draw your attention to is Virgin Pulse, which was built by an old university friend of mine and our non-exec, Tom Sermon. So that's a B2B to E platform focused on health and well-being, which achieved and has tremendous scale today. So we've learned a lot from Tom and his experiences there about how you can group people together to take action, about pricing, about the sales process, et cetera, et cetera. So we're going after a big market. Obviously, that's not the only market for which we're relevant. Just to give you a bit of sense of what the product itself actually looks like, we start off with, I think people want, you need something that's relevant to people, that's universal. So we start off with a carbon calculator. That's where the Pawprint comes in. You can see we've got the toe prints of diet, travel, home, and other, so people can get a sense for where they're at. We work with Professor Mike Berners-Lee. He's a leading authority. I'm sure many of you will have read his book, How Bad Are Bananas? So he gives us the scientific numbers and validates a lot of the information that you have here. So you can start to see how you compare with others. You can start to get some recommended actions. And I guess this next slide shows what we want people to get into, actually taking action. So we feel that they're people want to know that they can do something, but there also needs to be an integrity to what people do. It shouldn't be too easy. And therefore, when we talk about forming habits, people get rewarded with paw points when they form those habits and reducing their Pawprint down. You can see here, we've recently released teams and leaderboards. This is where within companies it works really well for engaging people, the natural competitive instincts we have. So Brewdog, the renegade Scottish brewers are our customers, and you can see their different bars competing with one another to see who can go further. And in-house in Pawprint, we're competing ourselves. I'm proud to report that after months of trying, I'm part of the top team thanks to going back to the UK by train. And then as people are working through the process, they earn these paw points, which at the moment they can spend on climate-friendly charities. We donate £1,000 a month to climate-friendly charities. We do have some other gamification mechanics within the platform, but we think that we can go a lot further by giving people eco-friendly perks in time, which we're quite excited about. More on that to follow. Businesses, so we work with Tesco Bank, the largest supermarket bank in the UK. They're obviously interested in all of their metrics, partly so they can track their own net zero objectives, but also so they can see how engagement is managing. And we're finding that we're selling very often into HR professionals just as much as sustainability professionals. And then we're providing a load of insights that can help people to use Pawprint to deliver hard value within a business. One of the interesting trends for us is that whereas we thought we would sell primarily to sustainability people, it's the talent argument that really seems to be winning through. Young people in businesses are absolutely demanding that their organizations stop talking the talk and start walking the walk with demonstrable action. There's also a lot to be said for the cost savings that can be made and increased customer loyalty. We have a lot of businesses who are selling into the public sector in the UK are putting this on their applications because it shows that there's tangible action going on across the business, not just within sustainability departments, not just at senior levels, but permeating through the whole organization. So a little bit about us. So we have, with my first business, I made the mistake of recruiting too junior, I would say, and that sort of puts a ceiling on where you can get to. We will make no such mistake with this business. We've recruited 2 ex-unicorn execs from well-known Scottish businesses, 3 experienced entrepreneurs with the scars to prove it, the highest pedigree board of advisors. I've touched on Tom and Mike Berners-Lee. We also have others, ex-Google and so on, and a strong culture of speed and impact, of which we're proud. We've just attained certified B Corporation, so that really is our badge of honor. It's obviously part of our DNA is to walk our own walk, as well as just talking the talk. And you can see our paying clients now. I'm not sure how many of these brands will be familiar to you, but you've got FTSE 100 businesses such as Aberdeen, renegade brewers like a Brewdog, Innocent Drinks, Tesco Bank. These are, many of these are substantial, noteworthy businesses, of course, Accenture. And I think CGI will be known to you. So our potential, now these are huge numbers we're talking about here, is that we can, in our target markets, advocate for such change and such tremendously fast change that the businesses will move faster. And then we can also impact on what people do in their personal lives and incentivize that through perks. So we're setting ourselves huge targets in the spirit that even if we do not get there, it is right that for something as serious as this, we shoot for the stars. In terms of how our revenue model works, this shows how it stacks up. It's based on eligible employees. You can see how, from a startup perspective, you can get to quite big numbers relatively quickly. And then I've got here our projections based on us targeting employees with 500 plus employees in the US, the UK, and the EU. So on a 10-year basis, we're aiming for these sorts of targets, 300 million ARR. And we think actually with some potential new revenue streams, we can go quite a bit further than that. So our vision is 1 billion people empowered to fight climate change. I would love you all to join us. We are raising right now. We're on crowdcube.com/Pawprint for anyone who's got a spare £10. We're also welcoming angel investors and funds. We're about halfway through a 5 million raise, having raised 2 million to date. Thank you.